Hello, my name is Sarah. I'm a student of MBA ITB. I will present Chapter 5 of Managerial Economics in a Global Economy by Dominic Salvatore. This chapter is about demand forecasting. The aim of economic forecasting is to reduce the risk or uncertainty that the firm faces in short-term operational decision-making and in planning for its long-term growth. Some forecasting techniques are basically qualitative, while others quantitative. By considering the advantages and limitations of each forecasting technique, managers can choose the method or combination of methods most useful to the firm. In qualitative forecast, there are two methods. Surveys and opinion polls are often used to make short-term forecasts when quantitative data are not available. First is survey technique. The rationale for forecasting based on surveys of economic intention is that many economic decisions are made well in advance of actual expenditures. Some of the best-known surveys used to forecast in various sectors of the economic are plant and equipment spending, expected sales and inventory change, and the last consumer expenditure plans. The second is opinion polls. The firm can forecast itself by polling experts within and outside the firm. There are several such polling techniques: business executive, sales force, and consumer intention. One of the frequently used forecasting methods is time series analysis or the analysis of time series data. Time series analysis attempts to forecast future value of time series by examining past observation of data only. And now, why most time series data fluctuate? If we plot most economic time series data, we discover that they fluctuate or vary over time. This variation is usually caused by secular trends, cyclical fluctuations, seasonal variations, and irregular or random influences. Secular trend refers to a long-run increase or decrease in data series. Cyclical fluctuations are the major expansions and contraction in most economic time series that seem to recur every several years. Seasonal variation refers to regularly recurring fluctuation in economic activity during each year because of weather and social customs. Irregular or random influences are the variation in the data series resulting from wars, natural disaster, strikes, or other unique events. Let's see this figure. The top panel shows the rising secular trend in the sales of the firm or in the solid line, as well as the cyclical fluctuations above and below the trend during the course of several years or in dashed line. The bottom panel shows the seasonal variations in the data during each year or in the dashed line and the irregular or random influence in the solid line. The total variation in the time series is the result of all four forces working together. The simplest form of time series analysis is projecting the past trend by fitting a straight line to the data either visually or by regression analysis. The linear regression model will take the form of this, where B is a growth per time period, and the constant percentage growth rate model can be specified as this, where G is the constant percentage growth rate to be estimated. To estimate G, we must first transform the time series data into their natural logarithm and then run the regression on the transformed data. The transform regression equation is linear in the logarithm and given by this. To adjust the trend forecast for the seasonal variation by the ratio to trend method. To find the ratio, we calculate the actual value divided by trend forecast, and the seasonal adjustment equal to average of ratio for each seasonal period. To find the adjusted ratio, we can find it by multiply the trend forecast with seasonal adjustment. This is the example calculation for quarter 1. The table shows the calculation of the seasonal adjustment of the trend forecast by the ratio trend method for each quarter of 1992 to 1995. Trend forecast for 1996 Quarter 1 is 80.60, this value from linear trend formula as we saw before. And finally, the adjusted forecast for 1996 is 60.50 by multiplying trend forecast with seasonal adjustment. Other method of forecasting is smoothing technique, and the simplest of smoothing technique is the moving average. Moving average forecast the average of data from W periods prior to the forecast data point. This is the formula to find the value of forecast. Other smoothing technique is exponential smoothing forecast. The forecast is weighted average of the forecast and the actual value from the prior period. This is the formula to find the forecast, where W is between 0 and 1. In general, different values of W are tried, and the one that leads to the forecast with the smallest root mean square error is actually used in forecasting. Root mean square, or RMSE, is used to measure the accuracy of a forecasting method. This is the formula of root mean square error, where AT is the actual value of time series in period T, and FT is the forecast value, and N is the number of time periods or observation. One way to forecast short-term change in economic activity is to use the index of leading economic indicators. These are time series that tend to precede change in the level of general economic activity, much as change in the mercury in a barometer precedes change in weather conditions, hence the name barometric method. Barometric forecasting is primarily the result of the work conducted at the National Bureau of Economic Research and the Conference Board. A rise in the leading indicators is used to forecast an increase in general business activity and vice versa. Sometimes series move in step with movements in general economic activity and are therefore called coincident indicators. Still others follow or lag movement in economic activity and are called lagging indicators. Turning points in the level of economic activity can be forecasted by using composite index of the best 10 leading indicators. Composite indexes smooth out random variations and provide more reliable forecasts and fewer wrong signals than individual indicators. The diffusion index is also used. This gives the percentage of 10 leading indicators that move upward. Barometric forecasting is 80 to 90% successful in forecasting turning points in economic activity. The variability in lead time can be considerable, and it cannot predict the magnitude of the change. Thus, barometric forecasting should be used in conjunction with other methods. Forecasting is increasingly being performed with econometric models. These seek to explain the relationship being forecast and are essential for devising optimal policies. Econometric forecasting models frequently incorporate other forecasting techniques and range from single equation model and multiple equation model. The simplest form of econometric forecasting is single equation model. The first step is to identify the determinants of the variable to be forecast. For example, in forecasting the demand for breakfast cereal, the firm will usually postulate the demand K is a function of or depends on the price of breakfast cereals P, consumer disposable income Y, the size of population N, the price of muffin PS, the price of milk PC, and the level of advertising by the firm A. Thus, we can write the following demand equation to be estimated by this. Although single equation models are often used by firms to forecast demand or sales, economic relationships may be so complex that a multiple equation model may be required. This is particularly the case in forecasting macro variables such as gross national product or GNP. To show how multiple equation models are used in forecasting, we start with a very simple three-equation model of the national economic that can be used to forecast GNP. First equation postulates that consumption expenditure in year T or CT are linear functions of GNP in the same year, that is GNPT. The second equation postulates that investment in year T or IT is a linear function of profits in previous year, that is PT-1. Finally, the third equation defines GNP in year T as the sum of consumption expenditures, investment, and government expenditures in the same year. Last equation is called a reduced form equation. It is resolved from substituting three equations above. A firm can also forecast sales by using input and output tables. And an input-output tables examine the interdependence among the various industries and sectors of the economy. It shows the use of the output of each industry as inputs by other industry and for final consumptions, and thus it can be used for forecasting. For example, this is three-sector input-output flow table. To find the direct required matrix, we have to divide input requirements by column total. And the total required matrix is like this. The total requirements matrix multiplied by final demand factor will result total demand factor. And this is the revised input-output flow table. By the way, input-output forecasting has fallen in popularity and it's not used much by firms today, so that's why I didn't explain it by detail. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you for watching and I hope this video is useful for you. Thank you.